Hello, and welcome to Dark and Wicked Dreams, stories around a campfire or unpublished work gathering dust on the shelves. I would like to take this time to say that you are awesome, and I thank you for taking the time to follow me, my story, and my videos. I've spent more than 30 years writing fiction, nonfiction, stories of horror and fantasy, epic fantasy, sword and sorcery, and science fiction fantasy. Oh yes, and I'm also working on erotica in a science fiction fantasy story. It's an ongoing story which really has no end. So it is. Without fame, fortune, or glamour, I offer my work to you. I hope you enjoy the ride. I hope you keep coming back for more. The attention economy, well, it's dying, and it's not pretty. There's only so much time in the day to pay attention. Most people currently have an attention span of 4 seconds, which is less than that of a goldfish. So unless people are paying attention to something specifically, say music, sports, and binge-worthy episodes, they aren't paying attention to anything at all. My past was an awful abusive one. Spent a lot of time entertaining myself through writing and art. For more than 30 years I have been a writer. Does anyone have any idea who I am? Doubtful. Still, hope springs eternal, and it is for the miracle that people will be entertained and take notice of my work. I'm not proud to admit it, so it should come as no surprise that I would like a following that enjoys my work and keeps coming back for more. So here it is. We finished chapter 16, so on to chapter 17 of Darkness Within. Both novels, Darkness Within and Shadow of Madness, are available at Amazon by following the link below. You can get the novels for your Kindle or for your smartphone at a screamingly low price that I would like to think that anybody can afford. And so, without further ado, I would like to share with you my novel, Darkness. The story, validated by the credibility of the strange alien jewel in the palm of Lanny's hand, sent all possibilities of jokes or hoaxes scattering to the winds. Something extraordinary was on the verge of occurring. Tyler could feel it in his bones. Something otherworldly. It was at that time decided by the five that the rest of the group had to be informed about the experience, and that a contingency of some kind needed to be initiated in the event that something else decided to come through the veil, as well as the likelihood that one of the ghouls was lurking somewhere around them out of sight. Lanny wanted an ice pack for her knee. Shannon went to the cabin to fix her up with one. "Do you happen to have any guns?" Lanny queried. Tyler replied, "Yeah, about a handful, mostly used for hunting. We keep them in a steel safe down in the basement. I suggest you break them out. We're probably going to need them before the night is through." "From what you described, I think I'd be safer with an automatic or an assault rifle." Lanny looked at him. "Do you know where to get one?" "Nick has a couple, actually. Well, more than a couple. Maybe you should give him a call." This agreed, Tyler headed back to the cabin. Jason and Brandon followed, still blazing on EMT, the world around them seeming like a carnival. It was decided that it would be easier to tow Lanny to the shallows than up to the cabin rather than walking the distance. Jesse felt a slight change of pressure around his legs in the water. The sensation came right before the strike. It was very subtle. Then he was crying out in agony as he felt talons rake his flesh. He turned reflexively, and Lanny was knocked loose as Jessie went into throes of splashing. Instinct for Lanny took over. Her mind and her hands suddenly sought out the neck of the fiend attacking Jessie. For the most part, the creature was beneath the young man, tearing at his legs, feet, ankles. Lanny saw blood filtering away from open wounds as she submerged to confront the adversary. Thin streams of crimson rose to the surface. Lanny, ignoring all the pain that she was able, and suddenly she found that it was a lot more than she thought she could, tried to grab onto the throat of the graver. Instead, her hands found its eyes. She pushed her thumbs into its sockets, even as she avoided its teeth and felt them yield under her force. There was an actinic flash of green light that illuminated the water, originating from Lanny's right hand. A corona of brilliance surrounded her, growing increasingly brighter between her hands. The graver's face ignited in a phosphorescent fire that could burn beneath the water. The creature jerked spasmodically, trying to break free of Lanny's grasp, but she persisted, even while her lungs were burning for air. She remained adamant. She wanted to give the folks at the cabin more proof of her experience. "Ew, gross," Katsumi declared, looking down at the corpse in the dirt. Lanny and Jessie went inside the cabin to receive first aid from Deborah. Brandon and Jason stayed outside for commentary on the fiend, and Tyler was just barely able to save his steaks on the grill, albeit on the well-done side. Not that anyone felt like eating at the moment. Marilyn Manson was going strong with the fight song. "Is it human?" Tina asked, looking at the face that was burned away on one side, exposing the inner tissue. Before anyone could stop him, Jason knelt down and separated the lips on the corpse, revealing its fangs and needle teeth. "I don't think so." "Don't touch it," Katsumi warned. "Looks like some kind of vampire," Tina pointed out. "But what's up with the barbed tongue?" Ian replied. "I have no idea," Jason answered. "Whatever it is," Brandon stated, "there's more of them, according to what Lanny and Jessie said. Much more." At that moment, the lips of the ghoul compressed against Jason's fingers, and with instinct laced with panic, he pulled them away. With slow deliberation, the entire face began to collapse upon itself, appearing to melt as it did so. "What's happening to it?" Katsumi wanted to know. That looks like it's dissolving." The degeneration process continued as if acid had been poured upon the fiend. Its ribs pushed in on itself even as its legs deflated. Within moments it was flush with the dirt, looking not unlike a ghastly, wrinkled pancake filled with ooze. A moment after that, and it filtered away entirely, leaving no evidence of its existence. "Well, there goes any chance of involving the X-Files," Brandon commented. "Why would you want to bring the authorities in on this anyway?" Tyler said, stepping away from his steaks for a moment. He had since changed his clothes and now wore a black t-shirt with a pentacle on it, along with blue jeans. "What do you mean?" Brandon countered. "Of course we want to involve the authorities. I'm not planning on going back into that cave." "Think about it, Brand. We involve the authorities and just suppose they believe enough of our story to determine the cave is worth investigating. What do you think is going to happen to us? The next thing you know, this place is crawling with scientists and the military, and they take us away to some out-of-the-way base where they perform all kinds of tests on us. They will try to get the jewel from Lanny's hand so they can examine it and find out what makes it tick. If they decide that what they find can't be compromised, they'll kill us. Simple as that." There was silence for a long moment. Finally, Ian said, "Tyler, don't you think that you're being just a little paranoid?" "No," Tyler said matter-of-factly, and went back to his steaks. Shannon had given Lanny an ice pack for her knee and a percogesic for the pain, while Deborah cleaned and dressed Jessie's wounds. She wrapped layers of gauze around his legs from feet to knees. It was a miracle no arteries had been hit. Still, the slashes were considerably deep, and he would have to see the doctor for stitches. Deborah agreed to drive Jessie to the nearest hospital, which was in Andover, 20 minutes away. Andover was 20 minutes from Wolf Barrel, where Nick Stice lived, and Tyler, as soon as he was done with the steaks, he decided that he would give him a call. "What is happening here?" Shanna said, sounding hapless. "It would appear that we have sidestepped into the Twilight Zone. A real fuck show," Lanny replied, lying on one of the couches. "I need a couple of men to put Jessie in the truck," Deborah said. "I think I can make it," Jason replied, trying to sound convincing. "I'll get Ian and Thomas to help you with him," Shannon told her. She walked across the living room to the front door and stepped outside. Deborah went into the kitchen to get herself a beer. As soon as she was gone, Lanny pulled on the red lace that held the front of her swimsuit together at the breasts, exposing them. "Hey, Jessie, look over here." Jessie did so, and his heart skipped. Inwardly, he admitted that every opportunity to see Lanny's boobs was a treat. "Very, very nice," Jessie commented. "Does it help the pain?" "Definitely." And somehow it seemed to do just that, almost making the pain seem non-existent. Lanny smiled. "I hope so." She tucked her luscious jewels away. Then she looked at her right hand, gazing at her palm with the multifaceted gem within. "I wish I knew what this damn thing was supposed to do. It set the monster's face on fire. I wonder if it could do it again." Jessie didn't know what to say. Everything was happening too fast and with a dreamlike quality. He wouldn't have been surprised if he had awoken to find himself safely in his own bed. But for now, his rationale was telling him that everything that he was experiencing, from the pain receding in his legs to Lanny's voluminous melons, was real. "Gate of Syria," Lanny said suddenly, if barely above a whisper, sounding slightly distracted. "Fear the dark." "What did you say, Lanny?" But the answer would have to wait. Ian and Thomas came through the door. Between the two of them, they were able to load Jessie into the back seat of the SUV. Deborah followed them out and got behind the wheel of the truck. She ignored the gazes of fascination that were fastened on the disintegrating creature by the pond. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop right there, as it seems that chapter 17 is a little longer than the other chapters, and I don't want to run out of time lest it make this video null and void. I would like you to join me again. I would like you to follow me, and I would certainly like you to leave comments of the encouraging kind. I thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.